Now, friends, this is the 5th season of Top Gear Australia, the third network that it's appeared on here in Australia. The first one, SBS, got a couple. Then 9 locked out a couple as well. And this is made by Paramount Australia. It's actually made by BBC Studios, Australia and New Zealand, for Paramount Australia, Paramount 10. So it appears on Paramount Plus. So consequently, you're going to get a couple of Channel 10 celebrities on it in Beau Ryan and Jonathan LaPaglia, who host, respectively, The Amazing Race Australia and Survivor Australia, Australian Survivor. Good on them. And then you've got to throw in someone with, like, let's call it car credentials, not that the other two don't have them. We'll get into that. In a guy called Blair, Moog, Joscelyne. Now, he is a YouTuber that has made quite a following for himself. I think he's got over 1 million fans on his YouTube channel. And he writes about, drives cars, does motoring things. Cool. Well done, Moog. Let's talk about the facts. So, as I said, the 5th season, there's 8 episodes being made for this season, and we are about halfway through them. It airs Fridays on Paramount Plus. It drops weekly. So the first 4 episodes are there for you already to watch. As you can see from the trailer that you watched before or spinning around now, the Stig's back. It's a female Stig. We don't know who it is. It's a female race driver. The boys got access to some pretty amazing cars. They do some crazy things. There's some overseas challenges and journeys and stuff. And look, fine, right? It's Top Gear. That's the format. The audience inserts, the parts where they're in studio, were filmed at Cockatoo Island in the middle of Sydney Harbour. And so they've had to ship all of these sexy cars and things over to Cockatoo and, of course, the audience when they did the filming to make all of that happen and set it up. It's a pretty minimalist studio, so that kind of works. It's some lights and, some truss framing and things. Great. It's just not good. And I for those that have been long-time listeners to the Black Box or Binge Box podcast, you'll know that I absolutely want to prioritise and support Australian content. The challenge for making an overseas format where the overseas format technically still exists, but has run for decades, and to have the UK hosts in Clarkson, May and Hammond be at the helm of that show for so long and really find their groove and do such a great job of it. Absolutely, this is going to be compared to that. It has to be. And it's not even a patch on that. Like, they do some crazy things. Beau needs to keep his clothes on. That is an understatement of what needs to happen there. But there's lots of attempts to do things the Top Gear way. And I don't know if it is production interference, network interference, and that's not to cast slights, it's just what it is, or whether it's budgetary limitations. It's not good enough. It's like, if this is the Top Gear level way up here, the UK version, the Top Gear Australia version is just sort of like a good 2 or 3 steps below it. It's not delivering. It's going to all of the big places, but it's just not delivering the challenges or the interest or the stuff about it that's going to be, I guess, as good as what I want it to be. I think that's the thing. The other part of it is the 3 hosts, honestly. Now, I come into this as not a hardcore car nerd, so make of this what you will, at least for Moog, okay, for Blair. I'd never heard of the dude before this. That's cool. I've never heard of lots of people. Lots of people don't care who the shit I am, right? Whatever. As a host of his own YouTube channel, and I should have done some research to go and watch him, at least on Top Gear Australia, he's excited, but it feels forced. Like, he's excited, but he doesn't want to be excited. And I don't know. Like, of all of the 3, like, this is an opportunity for him because it steps him out of YouTube into, air quotes, proper media. But he didn't need to. Out of all of them, he's probably got it. In fact, I can promise you he has a bigger audience than Beau Ryan and Jonathan LaPaglia in their Australian-hosted TV shows combined. If all of his million viewers watch a thing that he makes, more people watch him than watch JPL and Beau on their shows. Why did you do it? Other than a check, which I understand. But he's animated and interested, and he has the car knowledge, but I just found him really flat. Then we get to JPL, who feels like he's playing a character, and that character is Jonathan LaPaglia, and even he doesn't want to be there. Like, in the most recent episode, he's in LA where he normally lives, and he visits Jay Leno, and that was a fine little interchange and blah, blah, blah. Well done. Great work, JPL. But he just seems completely disinterested. They also, except for Beau, who is like, we'll get to him in a second. Both Moog and JPL just seemed really disinterested. And I've talked about this show for too long already, so we need to move on. Beau Ryan shouldn't be allowed out of his house, let alone out of the country. And they let him out of the country a lot. He takes off his clothes a lot. Good on you, Beau. As comic relief, fine. But again, when he's like that little puppy that's just excitable and wants to go everywhere and do everything and all of those sorts of things. And the other two are the old dogs that do not care. And that's where we land. I mean, yeah, that's, if you're into it, and give it a swing. I may have missed the mark, missed the point totally. I've just been completely unenthused by it, but out of sheer like morbid fascination, I'm going to watch the final episodes because there's not that many left now. Paramount Plus has Top Gear Australia Season 5, 8 eps. I think we're about halfway through, so there's only 4 to go. It started and it's on Paramount Plus. They drop every Friday. Get it into you. I mean, whatever. There's some comments coming through already, and I did forget to say at the top, if you want to throw some comments in, that's great. Kyle, part of the TV Bingebox team, has said, as a car buff, it really missed the mark for me. I really wanted to like this, and I thought it would be appointment viewing, but sort of forgot about it. Yeah, that's it. It's really easy to watch and go, I don't need to come back for this. Also, the Star and the Reason Plus sports car is not that dull, right? The editing is meant to make car racing fun and interesting and exciting, and it's just not. James asks, is the Stig the OnlyFans car driver from last week? I couldn't possibly say. No one knows. Unlikely, given that her boobs aren't big enough and she's tied up with Stan. And Kyle also added, the production values are great. You can tell they've spared almost no expense with the cinematography. Yeah, there are cameras for everything, on everything. But the trio don't work. That's right. They do not work together. They really should have done a whole bunch more chemistry testing or tried a few other options, because it's not a thing. Too blokey, too dumbed down. It sort of feels disrespectful to the format. That, I think, is the excellent answer to what is actually the problem. It feels disrespectful, and Top Gear fans will feel unsatisfied, and people who are car heads will go, this is dumb, and everyone else will go, I don't know why I'm watching this. Top Gear Australia, friends. I mean, get into it if you want to.